morning and good day to everyone and all that are watching right now. Sorry we've been gone a while. That would be my fault. I have been traveling with Southwest Airlines, if you guys didn't hear the news about that. So, yes, I was one of its victims. I am here with my co host, Candy Nelson, and we are pleased to be back tonight and come with you all with some great information and news and just some talk that will hopefully wake the dead out of their slumber. So, how are you tonight, Candy?
And restore their faith.
And restore the faith because Morgellons, lost and found. That's not just a phrase. It's a real deal. It's a thing. So to restore that faith, we're going to start out with Candy. What have you been up to?
Well,
6, no, 5'4".
I had a lady on my pool league that was telling me about her dog had these lesions on him, and she's like, he's always scratching and they get infected. And I'm like, well, lavender's good for healing. Let me go home and I'll make you some lavender salve and I'll bring it to you next week. She's like, oh, okay. So I get home and I went to go make the lavender salve, and I didn't have any lavender. And I was like, oh no, that's one thing I don't run out of. And so I have a cabinet that I bought these like big, huge 16-ounce decanters years ago. I was like, let me go look in there. So I grabbed this bottle in the dark way down at the bottom and I pulled it out. I thought it was lavender. And it said lavendine, Lavandin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But anyway.
I think that's how you would pronounce that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, what is this? So I research it. Well, come to find out it's from the lavender family. But it is actually naturally has camphor in it. And everybody knows that like camphor's been like my major go-to for like from the get-go.
Camphor works, like, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So I start researching it. Well, come to find out the lavender heals and the camphor kills infection. So I'm like, this is so cool. So yeah, of course I made up a batch. And then I got those little tubes from the bin store, like little dispenser tubes. I'll have to show y'all. They're so cute.
Like the lip gloss comes in.
Yeah. And so I had gotten a bunch of those from the bin store. So I got, how did I feel those things?
Yeah, how did you feel those things?
Oh, wait a minute. I had a technique that worked really good. What did I do? I had these little tiny miniature funnels, but I couldn't find them anywhere. But I did something else. I think what I did was no, I think what I did was I took a straw and I stuck it down in while it was still liquidy, and then dropped it into each one of them. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, so that worked, and I was able to fill them. But
probably a little syringe would work too, as well.
Well, maybe that's what I used. Yes, I think I did use.
I'm thinking you probably did because I know you well enough. That's what you've done before. So yeah.
Well, but this is all a learning process for me. So I was trying to find a way to get the tubes to stand up where I wouldn't have to hold each one and put that hot stuff in there and have to hold it till it's solidified. So I got the floral foam, and I pushed a bunch of them down in there and thought, well, okay, that'll keep them standing up, and I can fill them and I don't have to hold them.
Right.
Well, then afterwards, after it's solidified and I pulled them out, the foam, what it did was it mashed the containers. So I have like air pockets in my first ones, but I still got it in there. But I came up with another way. I got a tuna can, and I just packed a bunch of them in there, and they all stand up straight. They don't compress on each other. So that's going to work next time, so I can fill them completely. But, it's a living and learning. But anyway, so I've been using that on my skin since I started doing that. And it's been amazing. It's helped so much. I had a lot of stuff purging. And, like I said, I absolutely love camphor. Lavender's healing. Camphor kills infection. So, yeah, it's been helping a lot. And then in the meantime, back to treating my face, I was in one of my groups last week, and a man from a company makes this. It's called Mold Detox and lotion. which is,
I am excited to hear about this.
see how liquidy it is though. So when I got my container, it's like a little 8-ounce container with a cap on it, and kind of spilt some of it a little bit. But um, anyway, I was looking at the ingredients on that, and like it's like a bunch of essential oils and roots and berries. I'm like, man, this is like right up my alley, because I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
this
what
is
is
like
that?
you.
So anyway, he was looking for people with Morgellons that had had extensive lesions over a long period of time to test his product, which he was given the 8-ounce container away and covered the shipping as well. And so I messaged him, and yeah, he selected me to get a free sample of it. So I received that Thursday,
Mhm.
and so I've been using that for the last
I'm
2
on the
days.
list. I'm on the list too. Finally.
Well, and I started putting it on my face, and like I said, it's kind of liquidy, and it tells you a small amount in one spot. That's what everything says, but their disclaimer. But I'm like, oh hell no! So I'm just like, I covered everything. I put it on pretty thick too. But oh my god, the stuff that has been coming out of my face is like, oh, little
That's awesome though
rocky
that it's working.
crystal
They're little
hard.
tiny granules.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those granules are something else. Like they're endless, aren't they? That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
dealing with on my neck area still. And I mean, it takes a lot to have those loosen up and like dispel them, right? So here, this product, you said you're putting it on and it's coming out big time, right?
Well, and then you got to break the biofilm first before it even gets to that part. So,
Yes,
you
that
know,
takes some time.
so it
Yeah.
got so bad the last couple of days. I mean, I had to actually take a paring knife and sit there and scrape those little buggers out. And anyway, after they come out, it's like, oh, so much relief. So many
It's like
hard
the pressure too.
crystallized. Huh?
The pressure, it releases that pressure of that.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that product, but I have tried product, one that I'm using now also, and it's taken some time to take the biofilm and break it down, which I should share that, and I will here shortly. But I'm going to let you continue because I want to hear more about this product as I am dying to try it. I think that that is amazing.
Well, and so what I had agreed to do was I agreed to take daily pictures for like a week and then send him a report like every either Thursday or Friday. It'd probably be Friday because I started it on Thursday. So I took my first picture of my face before I even applied any at all. And then I applied it over the course of Thursday. And then Friday morning, before I applied anything, I took my pictures. And then, so I've applied it a few times today. And so in the morning, before I apply it again, I'll take another picture of each side of my face. So at the end of the week, he should have um, the first initial picture and um, 7 each of left side and right side, and a actual verbal report, which I already reported to him that it was quite liquidy, and so but the pain was so bad today because a lot of the natural herbs and roots and stuff tends to dry it out, and you're already got like chunks of stuff coming out of your skin trying to break through that tissue. It's so painful that I actually took some of my salve myself today, and what was left in the little um, container that he sent me, I put a little bit of my salve in there and just went ahead and mixed it all up in there so I could get every drop of what he sent me and put that on to help kind of soften because it was so
Yeah.
painful coming out. But I'm like, at least I was able to try to make it not be so brutal, but it's so itchy because it's like, oh, it's just, and then everything when you detox like that, it all moves down here and it collects. And this is where a lot of my itchy stuff is going on because it's the law of gravity, it's moving down,
Yeah.
which is good. But so
Hey, we have I'm gonna call this Hottie. We got Hottie here. It says hi guys. Gotta respect, you gotta understand, right? So hey Hottie, What's up? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? No?
We're back.
No, no. He's back. So it's nice seeing you here. And I sound like a robot right now. That's probably because I'm in robotic mode from my trip to Oregon. You guys saw my little escapade with that in my most recent YouTube video. That was something else. Sleeping on cold floors, having your phone go dead, not being in a city you're not supposed to be in. Nobody can help you because you're not supposed to be there.
No clean panties. No clean panties.
Oh, Lord have mercy. In the creek side, washing them out, and it's like ice cold. Now, Goodwill was our very good friend, or any thrift area at that point, because our luggage was lost our entire trip. So we had no clothes. So, yeah, we finally made it after driving 17 hours when our plane landed in Phoenix and wasn't going any further. 17 hours from Phoenix up the coastline. Actually, it was 18 hours to Eugene, Oregon, and then on to Bend, Oregon. The whole entire time, all we had was like our little carry-on bag, snacks. We had our snacks. We didn't think about putting the clothes there. There's so much change of clothes in there. It's okay though. It's okay. We survived. It was good times. Let me tell you. But that geostorm coming back, Candy, that was something else. There was all sorts of weird things going on with that. Some sort of an infrastructure, in my opinion. And I just recently watched something in regards to them using lasers to manipulate the weather. And this is for entertainment purposes only. It's role play. That's all we're doing. Wink and a wink and a wink wink. So, but yeah, so I was watching all these, like, if you guys haven't seen the video yet, all these pink kind of laser lights, like that would blink before the lightning would happen, and this huge storm cell, which honestly was the shape of nothing of natural shape, I should say. We'll leave it at that. That's for a whole nother. That was for last one, but I'm back, and so that's why we haven't been here for a while. So, Candy, I was going to ask you another thing. We were talking about earlier, we were naming this, or just this in particular podcast, we're calling it Morgellons Lost and Found. And I'm going to let you give the background as to why, and this was Candy's brain baby, and she's got lots of them, and they're beautiful brain babies. And I could hold them, I would. So I'm going to let you give background on things that, because we're all lost in the beginning, right? We are, and some of us still are lost. Some of us are looking around like, where the hell am I? It's very normal and natural to feel that way. But Candy, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I always think back about that Fear the Walking Dead, where the guy says, I lose people and then I lose myself. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. How many times have we done that? We've lost ourselves, and then it's like we find ourselves and we get through. I mean, we're still here. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, the things that we've had to go through, and then yet we're still here. And so where I'm going with this is, I don't know if some of y'all remember, but somebody that I care about very deeply a few months ago really just came at me and just went totally off and told me I was, all I ever talked about was Morgellons and child abuse, and I was so depressing, and that's why nobody wanted to be around me. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done, And again, we talk about sometimes people being our energy leeches, and we don't realize sometimes we are the energy leeches. And so, yes, because I didn't know how to interact any other way, because I was so consumed with my anger of having to deal with this all these years and see so many people go through this. It's like, you know what? No, I'm gonna balls to the wall. I'm going after this, and it's like everybody's gonna know and everybody's gonna hear, and and so, yeah, I understand that it defined me. So, I had to take a step back and think about, okay, wait a minute. There's a time and a place and a season for everything under the sun. When you are
Yeah.
with people that you care about, it is not the time to continue to just shove this at them, shove this at them. You know, you've said your piece over the years. You say your piece. They know where you stand. But then there comes a point in time where you have to enjoy those moments and be human again, because we
That's what
lose
I
our.
did when I went to Oregon. It's humanly possible with even the mishap, right? But you know
Yeah.
what? It takes a lot to arrive at that point, because there was a time, and there's still times, that I'm just like, wake up. How can you guys not see this? You know? But I mean, this whole time in Oregon, I made it 100% sure point to not speak of this, because it seems like the family loves me as long as I don't speak of it, right? And I don't really think anymore that that's actually the factor. I think sometimes if this is so big, think about how big this was for all of us when it first started happening. It's so big, it's so unusual, it's something that any and all minds can hardly comprehend, if at all. And then I started thinking, this has got to be scary for them. It's terrifying for me. Then, of course, it got me thinking, well, I'm mad because I'm the one going through it. They can at least be compassionate, right? So you go back and forth with this battle inside, emotionally and spiritually, this battle of, well, what's wrong with them? Or like, okay, I understand. But you're the one suffering, and it is a hard place to be and a hard place to stand back up in. But I think as we go on with this, and I know Candy's there, and she's gone through this gracefully. I think we start to realize that
Not always.
when it's not their time, I say gracefully. You've gone through this beautifully, and you are a hero. But I think that there is, like you said, there's a time and a place for everyone and everything. And just because they can't see things our way right now doesn't mean that they won't eventually. And here's the other thing I've finally come to terms with. Even if they don't ever see it our way, maybe it wasn't in their stars. Maybe their stars were placed differently than ours, and I don't think any stars are the same as others. But it's not my place to decide, understand, disregard, or belittle, or say shame. I've done those things, and I have arrived at a point where, yes, I still hurt. Yes, it's still angry. It angers me, and I'm angry. But I have to find calm within that storm. There's got to be calm in our storms. We got to find ourselves when we're lost. Morgellons lost and found. And if we can't find ourselves, we'll remain lost. And it's not about. I do agree that we are supposed to wake the masses to some respect. So let me rephrase this. It is not about shaming those that can't see or don't have the eyes or the ears yet. It is about growth. And the one thing I've learned through all of my travels with this Morgellons and every other spiritual aspect of it, as well as the unidentifieds and the orbs and the targeting, because yes, targeting individuals, yep, I'm one of those too. I've been one of those. But I noticed the more I let go of the frustration, the anger, the hurt, and the pain, the happier I am inside, and the more capable I am of getting through it. And that's just me talking out loud here, because that's what I do. Talk, 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 talk. But I think, Candy, you're kind of right. You know what I'm talking about. You've been there and done that, and you've got over 20 years experience in this. And it's not even about experience, because we all have different walks and different talks. But in the end, our hearts hurt. In the end, our hearts can heal. We have to allow them to heal. And that requires removing the negative and just embracing the moments, I think. Call me crazy. And we have.
Well, and sometimes I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, over 40 years of dealing with this, I felt like I was like 40 years in the wilderness, and now I've come out the other side,
40? Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying from the time.
Oh yeah. I was like so wrong. But yes, that's so
The
long.
child abuse and growing past that, and then.
Oh, 40. You're talking your whole life, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
Your road has been rocky and bumpy and not even typical.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, when I think back, I'm like,
How
oh,
did I make it, right?
yeah. I'm like, oh, and then
I know
like,
how you did.
yeah,
Number
well, and
one,
a lot
you
of
were born a strong woman, but number two, your Lord has never left you or forsaken you. He's always been there.
and that goes back to the rest of my story about the lost and found.
Yes.
So, but so anyway, this person that came at me a few months ago and just kind of ripped me a new one from the inside out, and I was broken. And I think after that was when I was able to write that letter to myself. It was called "Dying to Live." Read it on one of the podcasts a couple months ago, and anyway, I keep that folded up in my purse, and when I would feel the disconnect from people that I care about, I'd just take it out and read it, just to reassure myself that no, you've come so far. It doesn't matter what, other people think or how they feel. It's like you survive stuff that, you know, it just is. And there's a purpose for that, and it's got to serve a greater purpose. So anyway, I've managed to get myself back on track after that. I was hurt, and I've tried to reconnect the best I could. And so anyway, so Candy Griffin Vanderwalker wrote up a appreciation post about me yesterday, and came out, and I commented up underneath that, and I kind of touched base on that story about when I was asked to put my face on that billboard years ago, and how my family was totally against me doing it, and I did it anyway. And ever since then, I just felt so, slowly disconnecting from people that I cared about. And so over the years, it just seemed to get worse and worse and worse. And, again, I had somebody come at me, I think that was back in October. And so, yeah, it hurt a lot. I got through it. So, anyway, after that post and after I commented, about an hour later, that person called me on the phone and actually just voice cracking apologized to me for the way she had treated me all those years, and that she's having some medical problems herself on a daily basis, and has gotten quite depressed. And and I told her, I said, look, I mean, I had to do a lot of praying, and just pray about it. And she said, well, I kind of lost faith. I'm so depressed, and I understand what it's like now to be sick and just feel like I'm just total failure. And she's like, so I get it, and I just wanted to apologize to you. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I said, but again, I said, she said that she lost faith. And I said, I mean, even if you have no faith, I mean, my faith was challenged so many times. If you have no faith and you're losing your faith, if you cry out to God and pray, He still answers your prayers, and everything's going to be okay. You will get through whatever trials and tribulations that's being thrown at you. It will be okay. And so anyway, I went ahead and told her about my comment that I posted about what I put underneath Candy's post that she put. I told her I did that, and I read it to her. And I said, so see? I said, now, after this time, I posted that, and an hour later, you call me. I said, guess what that is? That's divine intervention, you know, because, yeah, God heard my pain and put it on your heart to call me and apologize. I said, so, for everything, there's a time and a season and a place, and it, I promise you, just, yeah, we all lose faith. We all feel helpless and hopeless and hurt and broken, and that he's never left me. I told her, I said, and she said, well, the thing that bothered me the most, Mom, oh, sorry, I should have said that part. But anyway, she said that, you were putting all these videos and pictures out there on Facebook publicly, and she's like, I just didn't know what to do. I said, well, the point being is I didn't feel like I had the support of my family, and it made me angry because this was happening to not only me, but other people. And it seemed like nobody gave a crap, and if I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have got the support that I did from people outside my family that, they were the ones that saved me and got me through all those hard times. So yeah, I was going through stuff. I felt alone. So that was the only way I could save myself and do what I could to help other people. And if I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, I was just to the point where it's like,
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, Candy. Why would we be trying to hurt anyone? I think that's where we struggle, right? It's like we're the ones hurting.
yeah.
We're the ones going through
And that's
terrifying event, right? And that's where we all get confused and lost. I think what Candy's trying to say is it's not about us. It's never been about us. It's about his way, right? It's what his timing, like you said. His timing is precisely right. And when we find ourselves not understanding or lost, it's okay. It's okay to say, Lord, I'm frustrated right now. I don't understand why me? What did I do? I've been a good human. I'm a good mom. I've been a wonderful wife, and he left. What did I do? We all have these questions, right? And the thing is, you didn't do anything. You didn't have to do a thing. Satan's been busy at work from day one, and you know who he's going to pick on first? Those with strength, those with wonderful, beautiful, unhumanly strength. That's who he's going to pick on. So, in a sense, it's a compliment, right? Because he picked on us.
Yeah, and then too,
That's the wrong people.
I know I remember telling you about, being so angry. This was years and years ago. And so I told my husband, I was like, I'm mad at you and I'm mad at God and I just don't want to cry anymore. I was so mad. And
So
guess
hurt.
what? Yeah. Guess what? My lacrimal glands dried up for 10 years. I could not cry for 10
Until
years.
that moment. And you guys, I know you've seen the podcast where she talked about that. She had
And it was like, well, finally, I was in so much pain. I'm like, and still wasn't able to cry for 10 years. And I'm like, okay, God, if you're done with me, take me now because I cannot do this another day. Next thing you know, I'm crying like a baby. I was like, oh, I'm crying.
He gave you the way to release those tears of pain.
And you know what?
Do.
That's what actually made me go public, because when I got that ability back to cry, I was like, okay, wait a minute. He's not done with me. What am I supposed to do now? If he's not done with me, I'm supposed to be doing something. What is it? And that's what made me go public.
Give it back.
Yeah, that's what made me go public, because I was like, okay, here we go.
I think that's the thing right there. You recognize the eye of the storm or the calm of the storm, and you saw that although the winds whirl around us every single day, there is a way to get centered in all of it. And granted, it's easy to get caught up in that storm, but when you are centered and you take a moment to look at all the whirlwind around you and what's actually going on, I think you arrive at an understanding of your own strength, that you are actually capable of being in the center of that eye and controlling some of that, right, to some respect, or just understanding why. But you never actually have to have the answers, because we weren't even promised those, right? We just know the one answer, and that's how we conduct ourselves now, what we put forth, what we show to others, and being those lights that shine. And Candy, you've been a beautiful light. I see it in you. Everyone sees it in you. Your children see it in you now, and I know some of them. And I would like to say to everyone else's children out there that might be watching this or watch it at some time or any time, your family, your parents that's going through this, they love you dearly, so much that they would lay down their lives for you. There is nothing in this world that your parent would not do for you. They hurt inside, they ache inside, and they're going through something terrifying. And although it might scare you, think about how they might be feeling alone and nobody listening, nobody understanding. And I want this to be seen on both sides. Yes, you guys are strong and you can get through this and we can't be angry, but I want our children and our loved ones and our family or our parents, like, in my case, it's every single person except for my two beautiful aunts in my world, don't believe, don't listen, don't understand, and don't give a crap. But that's okay. If you watch this in the future, for any of those of us that have this, just know that we never stopped loving you. We never gave up. We held on tight, and we knew that there would be a life ahead. And all the while being our own lights, and y'all didn't shine. Okay? We love you. We did this for you. Our sacrifice is for you, so that we might save you the grief of having to go through this one day.
And I had a conversation with my oldest daughter after that on the phone, and she told me, she's like, Mom, and she's the nurse. She said, Mom, she's like, I might not understand what you're going through. She said, but she said, you're my mother. And no matter what you're going through, whether I believe it or not, she's like, you're still my mother. And that right there, even though I might not go out and stand on the street corner with a sign that says Morgellons is real, I still need to support you and be there for you and love you no matter what.
But if you want to stand on the sidewalk with a sign, you could help us out a lot.
And she told me, she's like, I promise you, she said, you will never go in a nursing home as long as I'm alive.
Beautiful soul. Beautiful soul.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, and the worst part of all of this, Candy, is like, okay, we're going through this, right? But we are suddenly thrown into this spiritual awakening where it's not just Morgellons, come to find out. It's not just the weird crap coming out of our bodies, come to find out. All of a sudden, you look up in the sky, well, there's a little orb. Next thing you know, the little orbs or orbs, multiple, following you everywhere. Next thing you know, you're seeing weird things that shouldn't be there right in front of your face, appearing, disappearing, or you're seeing patterns and shapes, geometrical shapes and patterns. And you're realizing the textbooks, what's in them. Suddenly, what you've been told your whole life all becomes a lie. And you find yourself set apart because you're seeing things in its truest form, and you're thinking, what the hell just happened? I mean, I went from being a normal human, being just like everyone else, to suddenly experiencing the fiber world, and not the cyber world, not to be mistaken, all of that too, but the fiber world, to open lesions on my body, to, oh my gosh, there's something else here that's not supposed to be. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying. So I'm sorry if there's unbelievers out there. And it's okay if you don't believe. Your time will come, I promise you. And if it doesn't, well, you're lucky. I mean, I don't know. Are they? But it is. It's a lot on a plate. And it's a lot for when we go from that and tell our families, like, okay, there's fibers coming out of me. Oh my gosh, I got lesions everywhere. I'm not doing it to myself. Holy crap, I saw a UFO today. Oh my gosh, there was a being in front of me in my room. He tried to abduct me. The story is almost, if you think about it, laughable and unbelievable. Because someone told me that like a few years back, 10 years back, I was like, what is wrong with you? Take her away. But the thing is, if it were my family members, not a chance in hell that I said that. I would believe them because they wouldn't lie to me. And
that's what I told my daughter. I'm like, you know what? I said, I fought for my children all my life. I fought for each and every one of y'all. I don't understand. If that was happening to y'all, I would be like fighting for you. There's nobody helping me. There's nobody fighting for me. I'm on my own.
That's because, Candy, you were given the strength from day one because God said you're an angel and you're here. And we're here for that reason. We're here to protect and carry on, educate, move on. But he needs us. We are going to be on a battlefield. We're already there. We got our wings on. I hate, like, mine's totally broken, my pillow. But I mean, he knows. He knows who his fighters are. He knows who's going to be capable of doing this. He's known all along. He made us. I mean, it's not a question of like who. It's a question of like what you're gonna do now.
Yeah,
Hello,
sometimes
Connie M. is joining us. I am so glad to see you.
sometimes my little devil horns is trying to like pop out from underneath the halo though, and I'm like,
Hey, girl, every day, I'm just like,
I'm like,
down. I mean, we're human. At the end of the day, we are. We have all the same emotions and feelings. Everyone. And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm driving down the highway and I want to strangle half the people. I'm just like, where did you get your license from? Like, crap. You know, and I'm thinking, shame on you, Lisa, because then I remind myself, it could be a new driver, a teenage driver that just got their license, or it could be a man that's, you know, on the brink of senility, or, you know, I have to remind myself constantly, every day, that not one of us are alike. We don't know what the other shoes look like, if they're worn, they're tattered, they stink, you know? I mean, we don't know unless we walk in them. And come to find out, even when you try to walk in them, those shoes aren't going to fit you. They're not going to fit you because they were never yours. They were never meant for you. So for us to judge is one thing, but for us to like completely give up that's uncalled for. We're strengthful, we're warriors, we're going to get through this, and ain't nothing gonna stop us. Oh snap. I mean that too. Totally. So nothing's gonna stop us. We have got this. We're not invincible, but we are immortal. We don't have to be in these bodies to be that. And that was a promise. That was promised to all of us. Don't think for 1 second that guy upstairs is not listening. He hears your every cry and sees your every tear, and he knows when you're crawling. And that's when he literally puts his hands out and he lifts you up and he helps you stand again. And you will every time you stand. Cross my heart, because trust me, I should be like curled up in a ball sucking my thumb right now. Many of us feel so. All right, Miss Candy. Anything else you think that we should cover? I know we missed 3 weeks now.
well, I am really excited. My husband's got his little bowling trip next weekend, and I get to spend the weekend with Kristen. So,
Good. Awesome. That's going to be
really
fun.
excited. And I got our little care package put together with some soap and salve, and I'm so excited. I love doing those.
My Candy, my family. Take care of my Candy family. She's wonderful. I know she will.
Yeah, she's excited too. Yeah, it is exciting, you know. And the best thing I was telling her, because I'll be the first Morgellons person she's actually
first
met.
Is always something special. For real.
And I told her, I said, that's the best thing you can ever do for yourself is meet up with somebody else and just hug them.
You
we
bet.
need that.
And don't be afraid to go to each other. And there's going to be obstacles. Cross my heart. There are going to be so many obstacles. It's going to seem like they're just trying to keep you apart. That's because they are. That Satan is working overtime. He is trying to keep us apart. He does not want us to have a meeting point because he knows our strength, and he knows the strength in numbers. And I'll be darned if he is going to let us, like, you know, end up together. But the thing is, you got to work through that. You got to get there. It's the most important thing you'll ever do.
And when 2 or more come together, look what happened at Sprouts. Look what happened at Sprouts.
Actually, he's always there, but when there's 1 or more in his name, there are 2 or more. You already know. And Sprouts, Candy, that was an amazing day. Candy flew in. We got her peppermint oil at Sprouts, and if those of you that don't know, Sprouts is a wholesale, all-natural type of grocer, which is going out of business, by the way. I wonder why. All the good stuff's always going away. But the point is, we got in there and we were talking to a grocer that didn't know us from Adam. And we started talking about Morgellons. And I'll be darned if he didn't follow us to the counter after that. You know, and Candy's giving him our name, our YouTube channel, and like letting him know. And he's like, I'll be watching, I'll be tuning in. And it was an amazing, blessed day. And 2 or more were gathered. And people were listening. And I'm telling you, that's why it makes that Satan makes it so hard for us to get together. Don't let him stop that. It's going to be the best thing you ever do is to get with someone else like you, experiencing what you are, feeling what you are, knowing your trouble and your challenges, and loving through all of it anyway. Because that's what we do. We keep on loving each other, no matter what. It's unconditional. Like the Lord's love.
Well, and something else pretty amazing that happened this week. I told you I was out of lavender oil. So I text messages my oil guy that I get my oils from. Which, his shop is like 2 hours away, but he lives like 30 minutes from me. And so I was like, okay, is there any way I can meet up with you somewhere? And he's like, well, no, I'm kind of busy this week. He's like, but here's my address. He actually let me go to his house and pick up my lavender oil. So I was like, yay. So I did get 16 ounces of it this week. And so that was really, really sweet. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe he actually gave me his address and let me come to his house and get it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Good
It's
times.
the little things, It's
Yeah.
the little things. And I'm
And
like,
the little things are the best things, in my opinion. I think there's a point where we come into this world and we're thinking, like, I'm going to Disney World, which, yeah, no, that's a whole nother conspiracy thing there. But I mean, we think that's the best thing in the world, right? To where we get to where we are in life. And you realize that the only things that are really special are those little things, especially because more than likely they're few and far between. But not only that, it's appreciation for the real portions of life that count. The heartfelt blessings in the storm or not in the storm around us if we just choose to look for them. And they're there.
well, it was kind of funny because when he came out with it, he's like, I'm sorry I couldn't meet up with you. He's like, I was just so busy this week. I was like, oh, you just don't know. I was like, this is such a blessing. I had no problem at all coming here to get this, and I appreciate you beyond measure, dude.
And I appreciate you beyond measure, Candy, because you have been wonderful, holding to me, and Sheila, and like I could go on and on with the list and the names Sharon and Sheila and Carl and Scotty and like every single one of you. Like and I can't say all the names because there's so many of you that come on here or you watch or you support the channel or you say these amazing things in your comments or the ones that are around us that just love us or just there and don't have to say a word, but they care. Can't thank you enough. We love you. You are amazing, and we could not go through this without you. Maybe we could, but we don't want to. How about that? Because we're warriors. Remember, at the end of the day, we can get through anything and everything because we're not going at it alone either way. We got that guy. I'm not really sure. On top of the world right now, since it's supposedly a globe. Could be that way, but it could be that way. So who knows? Doesn't matter. He's everywhere and always. And that's
hey, Argo. Argo's there.
Argo. I'm gonna argue with Argo. Hey. So Argo, you're tuning in now as we're like closing in. Really, I'm glad that that's always one that's just here, and that and Hottie. And Connie Emma's joined us tonight, and I'm here. Candy Nelson's here. We're having a party right here online. So who's bringing the BYOB? You just bring your own books, I guess.
Well, actually, I comb my hair and change my shirt for this.
Me too. And my case that was finally flown to me in a shirt that was packed for Oregon. I didn't get to wear until just now, 2 weeks later. So, yeah, go me. Pretty awesome, huh?
Well, I've missed you terribly.
My poor daughter, who's in the fridge right now, I don't know if you guys can see her or not. She actually worked at a ski resort the whole time we were in Oregon. She's running from me. And she had to wear her sister's clothes and, other clothes alone. But we made it through, so... Anyways, I guess I should cook dinner now. And I know many of you got to do the same thing or other things, or maybe you're going out to a party, leaving on.
I have missed you terribly. I'm like, I need my Lisa fix.
Girl, you have no idea. Me too. I was just, and I was in a spot where I couldn't even get reception if I wanted to, but it almost felt like I lost a limb because you guys are like a lifestyle. But Candy, you and Sheila both know, like, I just love you guys forever on end, and I'm so grateful every day. I'm thankful and blessed beyond.
So are you gonna
I have
send
bugs and stuff crawling out of me, then by gosh, let it be me because it was worth it. Dang it.
are you gonna send this podcast to the detox guy, or am I?
I already did.
Good job.
But you want to make sure and just double do it. So because he does, I hope he watches, and we appreciate you. By the way, detox guy. What his name was?
Simon. His name was Simon.
Simon. Yes. So Simon, thank you for what you do and your contributions, and we hope to see you on here soon. In fact, we hope to have you on the podcast. And anyone else out there that has stuff to say and share, hit me up. You guys message, leave comments. I will gladly. Candy and I would love to have you guys' testimonies, anything you got to share, or just if you just want to boo-hoo and say, this sucks, we're here, and we will gladly allow and share because the world needs to hear. It needs to hear. It needs to hears it. So, yep, I just said that. Needs to hears it.
Horton hears a who.
We're here. Nothing else against that.
That's what it reminds me of. Horton hears a who. It's like, we're here.
We are here. And that is a good book, by the way. I still have that. I also have the Bernstein Bears. That's a whole other topic, too. So, yeah. Yep. Got that? I mean, it's not spelled at all like they say it is today, but what else? All right, guys. Love you. And praying every day. We're here for you.
Good night, everybody. We'll see y'all next time.
Night.